Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we're helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called The Intuitive Entrepreneur: Deeper Connections for Soul-Driven Success. Before I introduce these amazing women to you today, I have a huge thank you to Deb DeCelle, our lead author of this beautiful book. Deb, your mission and purpose for this book was huge. I'm so grateful to you for getting this stellar group of expert authors together to talk about this juicy topic. I love this book. It's going to be changing a lot of lives and a lot of businesses. So thank you so much, Deb. So I want to introduce these authors to you today, some of the co-authors of this beautiful book. Donnabelle Cassis is the owner of Sonorous Light and Donnabelle Designs. She is a certified evidential and trance medium, Usi and Karuna Reiki master and teacher, sound practitioner, and spiritual development mentor. Joanne Figoff is with us. She's an intuitive therapist and healer. She treats people in clinic as well as online worldwide, guides group healings and spiritual expansion circles. Her mission is to help heal the world and connect souls to their true essence. And Carm O'Sullivan is here. She calls herself the spiritual professor and the heart-to-heart medium, teaching about energy, psychic work, ethical mediumship, and connecting her clients to their soul energy and loved ones. Oh my goodness. All right, Carm, we're starting with you. Tell us a little bit about the why behind your chapter.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for having me today. My chapter is all about finding your true purpose. And it's really interesting in life when people are struggling. I see them and they're trying to figure out where are they supposed to be in life. And I had that moment. I lost everything in 2008 financially, and I couldn't find who I was and what I was supposed to be doing and what was my true purpose. And it was brought to me in 2012. They kept saying, wait. And so with that, I walked into the world of Reiki, which I call it the doorway to spirituality. And through that, I found I was always psychic, but I was also a very good medium. I walked hospital floors for 5 years doing healing touch and Reiki, got trained in both. And through that, it brought me into my highest purpose. And it makes me smile every day. When you find your purpose, you smile and you're happy. And so what I do through this chapter, I wrote my story and what could be your story if you choose to sit down and do the tools I gave you, to meditate, to connect to your higher self. It's a very deep connection to you, and to take the time to sit in the energy of all those little hits in your life that have been wanting you to listen to them, to find that higher purpose. I always knew I was a teacher, but I got a teaching degree and never did it until I moved into my spiritual realm, and now I teach. And it has always been my highest purpose, is teaching and doing healing work with mediumship and psychic. But what I'm here for is to help others grow their souls. And in this chapter, I try to give you steps and tools so you can make it happen for yourself and find where you stand on your own stage. I call it standing on your powerful stage of you.
And I love it.
Thank you very much.
I love it. I love it. So, it's so important to take the time to connect. And I think there's so many people who are just so busy. This doesn't get prioritized, but it should get prioritized. What's a baby step if someone is just feeling too frazzled to sit and meditate for an hour? What do you want them to do? Baby steps.
I like them to go to their aha moments in the past. Those little hits when you're a child, what you really wanted to be when you grew up. And what did it mean to you? And why did you say it? I like the aha. There's moments in my life I had people tell me things. Oh, Carm, you're great at this, or you should be doing this. Those little aha moments keep building. And it's really your higher self trying to wake you up and feel who you really are in your highest sense. And I just think remembering those moments, going, what? I remember somebody telling me that. Oh my God. I was told 5 times I was a healer and I laughed at people thinking, how silly is that? That's my friend over here. She's a nurse. I always denied it because I wasn't ready. It wasn't my time. But when my time opened, I stepped into that path. So look at those aha moments.
Yeah, that is a great advice. Great first step for you all. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
saying yes to this project and for being here today to share with everyone.
Thank you.
Donnabelle, tell us the why behind your chapter.
Well, Laura, my chapter is called The What If Principle, the 5 key questions to uplevel your business. And the reason I wrote it, it was really to sort of have people take the moment to ask questions. I think I've always lived my life very inquisitively. I've always been curious. And you can apply this to everything you do, but especially with your business.
I think it's funny. I think it was called the 25 Big Questions. Once upon a time, I had created this journaling book. And I wanted people to do this to really start asking questions because asking questions changed my life. Like, question everything, people, right?
Yes.
But when it pertains to business, what else do you want to say about that? It's so important.
Well, when you're starting out and you're creating this business, really, what part of it is you? I mean, you created this. You're the creator. And oftentimes, we see people approach putting their business together in ways that have already been done. And sometimes that works. But really, when you have a business that you created, a lot of it is about who you are and how you do what you do that makes it special. And I think people sort of forget that equation.
This is a brilliant question. What part of your business is you? When you guys are down the road, wherever, whatever stage you're in of business, it will change and morph, and you'll make changes and do things. And if you've gotten past this point where you're like looking at that going, oh my gosh, where am I
Exactly.
in here? Yeah. When you looked at yours or when you look at it today, give us an example of what's you. Just get, so our listeners understand what you're talking about. Logo. Well, it's not just about the logo. Like, yeah, give us an
Right.
example.
That's a great question because I'm in me. Whatever I do is purely me. So I'm an artist, and I've grown up as an artist. I'm a professional artist, and I like to think outside of the box. But I always have my creative spin on everything. So Donnabelle Designs is actually based off of my artwork. It's an athleisure wear line that I created purely because I wasn't really satisfied with what was out there. And if I'm doing workout, I need to be inspired. And so that's why I created that business. And then Sonorous Light is really about the gifts that I can share to help others bring their gifts out.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today.
It's an honor. Thank you.
I'm chuckling about that one question. I think it's good for every business owner. I did some new, speaking of logos, I did some new logo art recently, and I told the gal, I'm like, I want glitter sparkle on my feather, and I want this, and right. And so now I look at that and I'm like, yeah, there she is. So I love that part of your question. And there's so many ways you can put yourself into your business. So
Absolutely.
Joanne, tell us the why behind your chapter.
Thank you, Laura. It's wonderful to be here. And the title of my chapter, chapter 20, is Golden Light Healing, Getting to the Root Cause of All Your Pain. And I've been working for about 25 years as an intuitive healer. And what I saw over and over with people and myself is that All our experiences, all our stress and trauma is trapped in the fascia, the connective tissue of our bodies. And it is imperative, I've found over the years, for us all to release as much of our negative baggage as we can from our bodies, because then the miracle that happens is we suddenly open up to our intuition, our higher self, and the spiritual world. And that's what I found happened over and over with clients. And for many, many years, I started off doing the Bowen technique, and I've taught that worldwide. And I found that with students, everybody was unique. And that's when I first noticed and I saw and sensed their energy, that everybody had a unique gift. And I've seen that with clients all the time, that everybody has this unique soul essence. So part of my chapter is getting people excited to uncover their soul essence and their inner guidance, their intuition, which I always see as linked to how much of your emotional baggage, your stuck patterns you can release. Because once that's done, then there's a beautiful lightness of being of the soul, and one suddenly opens up to everything that is and one's own unique talents.
This piece is near and dear to my heart as a holistic physical therapist in the past and a expert myofascial release practitioner. Fascia is on my mind all the time. And what you said is really important. When those releases happen to a point where you're clearing this sacred vessel that you run around in every day. Yeah. So then tell us about that magic once that vessel is cleared and released from those. They used to call them, it's an interesting term, energy cysts, in when I did my training. And I thought, oh yeah, it feels like a stuck spot like that, right? What else do you want people to know about that, Joanne?
Well, thank you for that, because what I forgot to mention is after many years of using the Bowen technique, I found that there was and there is an evolution of healing, in that the energy of healing had shifted and people were starting to awaken. So that's how I created the golden light healing, which also came from my prophetic dreams. I was directed to that because I realized that we had to go further. And you mentioned the energy cysts, and over the years working with healing, like all of us, I suddenly opened to my intuition and I could see and sense and feel energy. So with clients, I could assess and see where there were blockages or the energy cysts, as you say. And then with the golden light healing, I would work with them to find the root cause of what was holding it in the body and energy field. Very often it was a past life or it was childhood trauma. And then I would work with the client to release that in a gentle way, to their liking. And then there was this massive feeling of lightness and this sense of being connected to themselves, which they hadn't felt before because the patterns were changing.
Yes, I love listening to you describe it. Thank you for bringing that aspect into this conversation. Thanks for saying yes to this project.
You're welcome.
So, gals, the intuitive entrepreneur, like we didn't just write any entrepreneur book, did we? Zonabelle, I'm going to start with you and ask, what does it even mean to be an intuitive entrepreneur? How are you using that superpower, I call it, on a daily basis to help you with your business?
Well, our intuitive superpower is always within us, and it's just a matter of tuning into it. And so, what I consider intuitive is essentially a nudge, a sort of directive, a sort of inner knowing that you're in the right direction. And also when you're going in the wrong direction, like I feel like when people struggle doing specific things, that's kind of an indicator that maybe that's not right for right now, or maybe that's not the right way to go. But on a daily basis, I kind of get a sense of a pulse of what my business is doing and where I can improve or where I can strengthen certain aspects of it. But it's a trusting about this guidance that you already have within you and sort of following it and also saying yes to it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This topic is,
Mm.
it's just one of my favorite ever. I'm going to really enjoy listening to the way all of you talk about this. I want to just pause the listeners for a minute because what Donna Bell just started with is a life-changing, game-changing statement. So like it's the awareness, it's the discernment, it's knowing the language, it's following and trusting that GPS, right?
Yes.
So let's continue. Joanne, your version, what does it mean to you to be an intuitive entrepreneur? How do you use that superpower?
Very similar to Donna Bell is in that it's all about trust and belief in what you get. And before you have that belief, you have to believe in yourself. And part of my chapter to inspire others was my very distressing illness I had for years, and I lost that connection with spirit. And then when it came back slowly, I realized that if only we follow the guidance, we follow the nudges. And what I also discovered was that they're like little whispers. It's very subtle, but the more you follow that subtle nudge, the further you get. So for me, it was all about the trust and belief. And the more you trust, the wider and more open everything becomes. And you just follow the little trail of the breadcrumbs, really. And it also becomes louder because I feel it's a two-way street, that the more you listen, the more your intuitive self, the spiritual guides are with you and connect more. And so it becomes a lovely pattern.
Yes, it does. All right. I'm getting back to nudges in a minute with all of you. Carm, what's your version of this? Like, how have you used your superpower for entrepreneurship?
My intuition has always guided me. I do listen to I love that with the nudges and the trust. But our businesses and our intuition flows every day. And without checking in daily with your higher self and asking, where do you want me to go today? What do I need to do in my business, in my personal life? Give me signs, give me direction. I always ask for that daily. I sit in the morning and just have a cup of coffee and check in. And with that, I always get Carm, do this. Hey, it's okay today. Don't worry about things. Because we're always flowing our energy and our business is flowing. So checking into both and checking into your personal life too. Because we can get overwhelmed by just our business life, but our personal life is just as important. And so breathing, taking that moment, 15 minutes, just checking. It's like brushing your teeth and getting dressed. It's the same thing. But what you're doing is addressing your higher self and finding out what you need to know today.
I love the way that you're all answering this question. I don't often do this, but I'm going back around in the same order because I want you each to tell me one. I know there's a million for you guys, and I'll model it with mine, but one sign. So in my case, it's the hawks, and I can hear them and the feathers and the hawk. That's my one sign. Donnabelle, what's one for you?
Oh my goodness, I'm a bird girl too. So
Okay. Nice.
So birds, I have a whole slew of them who give me signs, and it's just magical, and it's a nice
Birds.
affirmation.
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. Joanne, what's one sign for you?
Music. I just hear music.
Beautiful. Carm,
Sound.
how about you?
I have visions when I dream at night, but there are visions. So that's my sign to step into something new. And they always show me clearly what I need to be doing.
I love it. It's the reason why the collaborations are the collaborations, because we need each of you to tell us your way so that people know what's possible and they can have all the different unique voices that you all are in this book. I love these books for this reason. Okay. One more juicy question for everybody. Joanne, what's the most important thing you want people to know about getting to that root cause of their pain?
I would love people to know that everything is possible, that the doorways open through my chapter. I'm hoping that people will see and understand the doorways open for them. That once one addresses any illness, any negativity, any negative emotions and trauma from childhood or other lives, then it's possible for that amazing connection with spirit, and intuition and life can actually flow and really be wonderful, because that is our true essence, and getting in touch with our inner self.
Thank you, Joanne. You guys are all giving me the feels and the goosebumps today. I love it. Okay, Carm, the most important thing about finding your true purpose, what do you want our listeners to know today?
I meet with my clients all the time, and they're unsettled about, am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this lifetime? And the more you become aware of your higher self, and the more you become aware that you're really truly a spirit having a human experience, that's when you're starting to look at what am I supposed to be really doing in this lifetime? What is my life lessons? What's my highest purpose? And without directing and asking first, am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Or is there something, a bigger calling for me? Or bringing your bigger calling into your work. And if you're just a person who's doing a CPA job, maybe you approach it differently. I always believe your heart will always guide you. And I believe also that you have to ask, am I really happy? Am I really purposeful? And the more you can step into your truest self, the more you're going to have that beautiful smile on your face, and they're going to attract more people into your business, more love around you, and you're going to be helping people no matter whether you know it or not.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for that. All right, Donnabelle, for you, the most important thing you want people to know about those questions that we can ask ourselves to up level the business.
Well, when you're curious about what is possible, you start asking questions that then lead you to more aligned outcomes for your business. And once you feel those right questions and know those right questions, things just start lining up in the way you build your business, how you run your business, and then, of course, how the clients come and find you because they can't get enough of it.
Exactly. They can't get enough of those high vibes for all of you. Thank you so much to each one of you. Joanne, Carm, Donnabelle, thank you for what you do in the world. Thank you for being here to share it with everyone. These chapters are gifts. You guys, imagine having this expert team on your side, all in one book. And if you can't already tell, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community of experts who want to answer the question you have about this interview today. Come on down to the show notes, because everybody is hooked up with their websites and their links. And I want you to explore what these authors are doing in the world. It is phenomenal and powerful. And they're there to answer a question, give you the support you need, all the things, right? Maybe you just want to carry on the conversation that we started today. We know that it was a juicy one. We also would love it if you would hop over to Amazon and buy this beautiful book. You can get your copy of The Intuitive Entrepreneur today. And lastly, everyone, remember, your words and your business will change the world when you're brave enough to share them in a bigger way. It is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.